committee members and anyone watching out there, and our Select Board Liaison, Michael Herman. The first thing on the agenda is just really a brief summary of the estuary sampling that we've conducted to date in Orleans on our 3 estuaries. I will welcome Carolyn to chime in on anything, but essentially the last sampling round last week had to be canceled due to the weather. The weather forecast was not conducive, and so we did not go out, although I understand there were a few people that did go out. They didn't know that it had been canceled. It didn't get canceled until I saw the notice had been posted from Dr. Duncanson at 10 minutes of 2 in the morning the night before, so it was, I think Judith saw it a little after 5 in the morning and thankfully got a message out to volunteers, and it looks like most people received it. But I thank those of you that showed up to receive the samples and stayed on call just in case. This happens. I think Dr. Duncanson builds in an extra sampling just in case of this sort of thing happening. The prior estuary sampling, all stations were sampled, and there were no problems. And do you want to add anything to that, Carolyn, on the?
No, I think we're doing okay.
Okay.
So far, we had boats and people in the right places at the right times. So.
Great, great. Thank you very much. The next item is number 3, is the PALS, which stands for Ponds and Lake Stewards. It's a freshwater lake and pond monitoring. Orleans monitors ponds pre-stratification in the spring, before there's a thermocline developing as the pond warms up. And then in the summer, we do the PALS monitoring, which is a county-wide program that's been running for, I don't know, 20, 21 years. Maybe it's 22. And we also participate in that. So we do sample twice a year. A lot of towns only do this snapshot once every summer. And we are partially through the ponds. We did more ponds about a week.
Monday.
Yeah.
Ago.
I forget
15th.
how many, was it 10 ponds done?
I don't have it in front of me.
9 or 10 ponds were done. We have some new samplers. Again, Carolyn can maybe add a little bit to this. We are very happy to have some new first-time samplers for freshwater ponds. Some of them are, I think, here at this table. And we have 4 more remaining ponds to do Wednesday of this week, and then Orleans will be done with its freshwater pond monitoring for the 2022 season. Did you want to add anything, Carolyn?
No, it seemed to go pretty smoothly, and the people that Judith trained seemed to know what they were doing, so I think so far so good. And we have one person doing 3 small ponds on Wednesday, and we have another party doing crystal. So hopefully all that will work out. And
I believe it's Meadowbog, Uncle Seth's, Uncle Israel's, and Crystal going out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that's great. Are there any questions or comments about?
I have not looked over the data sheets to make any particular comments, although I know that Judith said Shoal was very lacking in oxygen.
Yeah, we had a weird thing with Shoal. Surface to bottom, there was almost no oxygen, which was a little strange. It's a very shallow pond. It's a pond that's filled with pond lilies. It's the coverage is pretty significant. But usually you expect to see a little bit more oxygen at the surface.
She did it very early in the morning, so.
She did do it early, but she repeated the measurement. She was a good sport about going out the next day and repeating the oxygen. She did another profile. It wasn't quite as low, but it was still pretty uniformly. So we want to rule out that it was a meter glitch or something. Not warmed up enough. It was her first pond in the morning, but it's curious. We did report it to Ed Eichner, and hopefully he'll have an explanation.
What was the temperature?
I want to
Was it
say
really
21 point something, but I don't have it in front of me.
I'll go back and look at previous years
Yeah,
and see
that'd be great.
what it was like.
Any other questions on the updates? sampling update. Okay. The next item on the agenda, and I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time to discuss it, is the Orleans Home Rule petition article to prohibit application of fertilizer in the town of Orleans. And we will have a discussion and a possible vote whether to support or not support. And Michael Herman is here from the Select Board, and he's our liaison. And Michael, would you like to say anything?
No, I'm here if you guys have your discussion, if you have questions.
Okay.
For me.
Didn't want to tee it up at all or anything? No?
No, I mean, other than, yeah, I could. I mean, I think everybody knows and saw the information that the Select Board has voted unanimously on June 15th to support a home rule petition to ban the application, not ban, prohibit the application of fertilizer. Ban gets put in that a little bit, but nowhere in the warrant article does it say ban at all. Okay? I know we have been studying our waters for many, many decades. We have dozens of reports, if not hundreds and thousands of pages worth of reports. We have spent in the millions of dollars as a town studying our waters. And the volunteer value that we have put into monitoring or testing our waters is in the millions. Okay? There are a lot of different reports. I know you guys have seen some. You've been shared some information just in the marine and freshwater quality. There's very different, reports that say different things. But one thing is really consistent, is fertilizer negatively affects our water bodies. That is something that really is irrefutable and clear. What the percentages are, I don't like to talk about too many percentages because it's a moment in time of how you took it. It needs to be put in context. I have, looking at reports here from Pleasant Bay Alliance, the Horsley Witten Group, Orleans Pond Coalition, the Cape Cod Commission, the EPA, etc. And all of our percentages are definitely different depending on when they took them, what inputs were there, what parameters they used. So as you guys, discuss this, I'm here. We're doing a workshop this afternoon too. So that the public workshop in the Nauset room here at 4 o'clock to 6 p.m. You can also join by Zoom. And we're just here to listen. There'll be a short presentation at the beginning. And then we're really here to listen to residents' concerns and comments. We have brought this up for the sole purpose. It has been discussed for decades and decades, and our residents are extremely concerned about the use of fertilizer on our properties and how it affects our water bodies. Is that any questions for me to start out? Yes.
Is when or will Orleans, I've only seen the town of Nantucket.
Yeah.
When will the town of Orleans issue a specific warrant article for
It had
the
at the
town?
beginning of August, and it's on our website. There is a
Okay.
webpage called Fertilizer Home Rule Petition 2022, and there we have reports, letters of support from different committees and
Yeah, I looked at
organizations.
that. I
And
just didn't happen to see it.
There's a
I'll
tab.
look
There's a
again.
tab in there called Warrant.
Okay.
And that is our warrant article, which is exactly the same as Nantucket. We just changed something to do with their finance department has different authority and rights in Nantucket than ours does, so we had to change it a little bit. But it's there. It's been. I
Okay,
think we
'cause
put it
I-
up August 3rd.
I found that there's some language I think would be
Yes.
difficult to, or not really defensible.
Okay.
Some of that involves, it references unique soil conditions, which, can't be unique in more than one location. And also, it mentions degradation of drinking water. And what I've seen for Orleans is that the nitrate and nitrite concentrations meet maximum contaminant levels and maximum contaminant level goals. So,
Okay.
it seems like there's some inconsistency with the data or presentation, that I see in this Nantucket warrant article.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think our drinking water is indisputably good, excellent, whatever you want to call it. And part of that is the state law about protecting the wellhead areas. And and I think ours are well protected in the fact that our drinking water and all of this water comes from the west of us and comes through the area of Brewster and the Nickerson Park system. There's not a lot of density of population to the west of us, which is really very, very fortunate for us.
Well, I would agree with you.
And that's
I've spent hours and hours touring all of our wells and spending time with the water department. We have an amazing water department. It wins awards probably better than almost any water department in Massachusetts, I think. And they do an amazing job to keep it safe. But excess nitrogen can affect all waters. So that's why it's in there. I mean, it also is fertilizers that affect our 50-plus miles of coastline in our 63 ponds and lakes. So it's not just, we're not making this out to be a drinking water issue.
Yeah, but I wouldn't scare people by putting drinking water into this context.
Okay.
It is an issue, nitrogen an issue in Wellfleet. They have a sandier soil and transport is quicker, and I know in the past they've had some issues in Wellfleet.
Well,
But not in
Eastham did
Orleans.
too, until,
Yeah.
that's why they ended up putting a drinking water system in.
But we're fortunate in Orleans to have outstanding water quality for drinking water.
We are, and we thought ahead, and we looked ahead to protect that environment as a town, and that's similar to what we're trying to do here. So when we look back in 10 years, we say, you know what, we made efforts and decisions at that time that were hard, and they have actually turned out to really help protect our waters.
Maybe stated in that context would be more convincing
Okay.
in the article, saying it's happened elsewhere, not here, so the more
Yeah, you
preventative.
guys
the more
brought it
preventative-
up. It's
yeah,
happening in our neighboring towns.
Yeah.
Michael, it's my understanding that the article can be amended and probably is expected to be amended periodically through this process?
It's a petition, so we're
Yeah.
basically asking the state we're petitioning the state to ask them that Orleans can make its own decisions regarding fertilizer. When it goes to the state legislature, when it passes at town meeting, they will be deliberating it, and they will reach out to the select board in Orleans and may make changes. It is at their discretion to be able to make changes, to soften the language if they feel, make some changes. We don't know what those are yet. This is not a bylaw that will go into effect after town meeting. This is a start of could be a lengthy process. And as Judy said, there are people who feel it may not even get out of committee at the state legislature. I believe positive that attitudes are changing, and Nantucket has passed this at they are going to be hearing that bill going forward, and we would be the second one. So I do think, things might not always have happened in the past, doesn't mean they can't happen now.
So,
Is there a time frame for the Nantucket, your consideration in the Nantucket?
Well, after the town meeting, if approved or passed, will go to the state.
Oh,
They-
so it hasn't been approved, sorry.
No, Nantucket has.
Yes.
Nantucket has, and it's gone to the state and is with their representative and our Senator Julian Sears and Representative Hernandez, who is part of Nantucket. And they have now is a bill that they will be discussing.
So is there a time frame?
There is not a time frame of how long. It can last up to 2 years, okay, in committee and discussions. And at that point, it expires. And I think we've all heard on the national news or whatever that things get stuck in committee and expire or get squashed. If that happens if we pass ours and it does happen that it is stuck in committee and deliberated or not deliberated for the 2-year period, it will expire. And for us to extend it, we would have to re-vote it at town meeting again.
So it'll be watching what happens with Nantucket to know what's going
Oh,
on.
very interesting, yeah. And I think they're going to be watching, knowing that other towns are looking at this now, too. And we've been contacted by other towns that are very interested in this also. So as there becomes more discussions, more awareness of it, of what Orleans is thinking, or the select board has what we have acted on already, it's definitely bringing awareness and discussion to this issue, which is exciting.
Is there movement on either Brewster or Eastham? I'm thinking of the two places that border.
I don't know what I know they know about this. We have contacted them. There have been discussions with a lot of people, but I can't speculate whether they're going to or not going to.
It would be, I mean, that would,
Yeah.
to me, that would be an interesting thing to
Yeah.
pursue. Is there somebody that is sort of a liaison to,
They would probably most likely are reaching out to us if they have more information. I mean, Nantucket, we're following Nantucket's lead on this. So we're hoping other people see Nantucket, Orleans as an important issue to them, and then maybe they will follow. It's generally how things go.
Hi, Michael. I'm just speaking only for myself,
Sure.
not this group or any organization, but I think this is directionally correct, and applaud you and the select board for, proposing it. Just this is just sort of kind of a drafting comment.
Yeah, sure.
Only solely my opinion. Section 3, kind of the operative language is the application of fertilizer containing nitrogen or phosphorus or any other pollutants in the town of Orleans is hereby prohibited. I think I would feel more confident both in the feasibility of this coming to be and also implementing it at the local level if maybe there could be just a simple sentence added at the end of that or a discussion at the town meeting that, limited reasonable exceptions could be made through local bylaws, by the town. I think there might be some limited instances where people might need to be able to use non-compost fertilizer. And I don't want to get into what those might be, but
Right.
just to acknowledge that the town, through a local process, could make some exceptions if it was necessary at the time.
Okay, and we can discuss that, and we can enact our own bylaws at any time after,
Right.
this passes, hopefully, and make restrictions that are, it's giving Orleans the right to make its own decisions.
Right.
But again, I can't tell you, just to say we're going to leave broad exceptions
Right.
is challenging at this time.
Right.
But I just want people to really understand that as a home rule petition, it is not a bylaw. This will not go into effect after town meeting. It's a lengthy process, and there will be discussions back and forth. And none of us at the select board want to do anything that harms our businesses in this town. We're extremely supportive. I have spent hours and hours personally discussing this with our key businesses in town that this may affect. And it's been very positive discussions.
Right.
Is what I can
That's
say.
great. That's
So we are trying to be open with the community. We passed this on June 15th. We have been discussing it since then, 2
Right.
months ago, and
Right.
putting out literature and putting out information. There isn't another warrant article for the fall town meeting that I know that's already been passed.
Yeah.
Approved.
Right.
So we are trying to make sure this is very far out ahead, that it's giving people chance to educate ourselves, our whole town, on what this could be and what this means. So we are taking this very seriously. We think our environment is our number one economic asset, and it's our number one resource, is our waters.
No, I totally
So-
agree, and I support the effort.
Yeah.
It's almost more, I think it would give it a more feasibility at the State House to
Okay.
just sort of signal that the town could make reasonable adjustments if certain,
It's an excellent point, but they do know that. Our
know,
state reps
right.
on a home rule petition will reach back out to the select boards.
Right.
But they have to be the ones who initiate it,
right,
the discussion with the select board to change the language. And at the end of the day, it's their right to change the language as they see fit. And this would only affect, of course, when you do a home rule petition, it only affects that one municipality,
Right.
Orleans. But thank you for your comments.
Carolyn?
We've had two previous town, I don't know whether I can call them bylaws or not, on this subject. And I don't know whether anybody has done any investigation to know that those have helped or not helped. The first one, I think, only related to town properties. And certainly there are town properties like our ball fields and so on that probably wouldn't survive if they didn't have some amount of, because of wear and tear, kids running all over them. They didn't have some amount of nourishment. And
Well, we do have schools that don't allow the use of fertilizer on the fields, and there is wear and tear with those kids running on them in the summer sports and everything like that. But
Yeah.
so there's policies, and then there's a bylaw I think you're referring to. There's one in 2013, and then it was updated fully in 2014. We've looked at that in depth. One of the things with that, I think everybody knows, is there are no enforcement penalties at all in that bylaw.
Right.
So you can't enforce it, basically. You can, we put it in there, and that's, I'm not sure, and I really don't want to guess why our previous administrations did that and did not put in any enforcement penalties at all. All I know,
It related to town properties, so you have control over town staff supposedly and what they do in their best management practices.
Yeah.
but that's the policy that we have. We have a town policy, but
Yeah.
the bylaw is, it regards all town properties.
Right. I would guess if you went to Stop and Shop and pull the first 10 town residents that you ran into and asked them any question about any of this, they would not know that it exists.
Probably, yeah.
I think we have done, aside from an initial, guess what, here it is kind of thing when we first passed it, there has been no continuing public education on this process.
Well, we're having our public, as you know, our public workshop today.
I'm just saying, it's something that you're going to have to keep doing.
Absolutely. That's why we're
The
trying to.
resident population of this town changes, as we know, demographics change. And unless you catch the new folks coming in every spring or winter or whatever, you'll never succeed unless you do continuous education.
And we plan to. We've already agreed as a select board, we will enforce this and put a significant amount of resources that is necessary to reasonably enforce. We have had 4 or 5 articles in the newspapers, so there has been some awareness from that. We have had a lot of outreach from different committees and different people in the town so far, but you're right. We can always do a better job making people more aware of this. And this is our first workshop. On August 31st, we've allocated 1 hour to the select board meeting to follow up with any questions that we're unable to answer today at the public workshop, because we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to discuss their thoughts. And then, if needed, we will have another public workshop in September. We can't guarantee it, but if they're going to do an Orleans Citizen Forum before the town meeting, they may ask this issue be included in that. They haven't made their decision yet on what that is, but I take your point that we constantly need to bring this to the public and make them aware of what's going on.
The other thing from a perspective of a science experiment, and that's what we're in the middle of doing here with our waters, is we're about to put in place, turn on the switch for the septic treatment plant, and take a large quantity of water from the middle of town and put it through that plant. That should have some effect on Town Cove and some of our smaller ponds. Question is, do you really want to know what the effect of that is? I would think we do. And it may take 2, 3, 4 years to find that out.
It's always going to change, and
If you put another layer of experiment, this, on top of that, how would you know which one really worked?
that's one way of looking at it, and we're looking at it, if we know this is polluting our waters, we need to stop doing it. It isn't an experiment. We're not, the most important thing that we got to get back to is protecting our waters. If we know something is harmful to our waters, we got to stop doing it. And this does not cost individuals or taxpayers or the town anything. And we can solely make these decisions today ourselves without even waiting for a home rule petition to just stop doing it now. The sewers, as you know, are going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. We're already at 100, and we're only at 2 phases. And it's going to take many decades. So every decade, every new phase that's going to come on, it's going to change what inputs are going into the ground. So
Well, once you connect a house to that, there's a certainty that X percentage of nitrogen from that house is going to stop.
correct.
there's no certainty. The next person who moves in who doesn't know that this exists is going to buy their fertilizer and
We hope that people will follow the laws of the town that we have, and they will educate themselves, but will there always be people who don't? And any law we have, let's be, any law we have, people may take advantage and not follow it. If we can get 80% of people following just because it's the right thing to do, and they're made aware of this, do we need to make sure that I know in the past we've done for every new citizen that's bought a home, has gotten a welcome packet. We're going to continue to try to educate and enforce this. So I get your point that people may not know, they may consider doing. I see people still watering during the times, and we all know we're in a, well, I guess we all don't. We're in a severe drought in the United States of America, and people are still sending their sprinklers up in the middle of the
I have two
day.
neighbors who have wells, so they're using their well water.
But even people who don't have
It's the same
wells.
water.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
same aquifer.
Comes from a different place. It's not coming.
Treated.
But either way, there will be, I believe that because we put something in place that's reasonable, 80% of our people to 90% just will follow it because it's the rule and they are paying attention to what happens in town. But there will always be those ones that fall through the cracks. I can't say this is going to be 100%, but I don't know any bylaw, any law we have that is 100% followed by everybody.
I'm be very curious this afternoon, and I plan to be here. Reaction from people in garden clubs and really heavy-duty gardeners.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure as I walk their properties at their will during the garden tour in June, that it has to be fertilizers. There's no question about it. And I think this town has always prided itself on the natural beauty, and that part of the natural beauty is the plantings that are in this town. There's the ones at the library and the rhododendrons or whatever it is. And I know that we put hollytone, for example, on our hollies, and we have a fair number of them, and azaleas and so on. And they really do produce, the hollies, for instance, berries at an increased rate as a result of that. Those feed birds, and it goes down the food
Correct.
chain too.
But nature, I think you know too, has its own balance. All I've been hearing is people need more natives. They need pollinators. Natives, if we get plants hooked on these drugs, if you will, yeah, they're going to produce more and throw in extra steroids to them. But that's not really healthy for our whole natural environment. It is really irrefutable that fertilizer that it travels through our permeable soils very fast and does affect all of our water bodies in a negative way. So it is a change of habit. People will have to change habits a little bit, but we feel as a select board, and I feel, it's worth it to make this change because we're protecting our waters. I can't say enough, and I think that this is kind of those decisions like our watershed, like Nauset Beach, where we're really going to look back in 10, 15 years and really appreciate you did it. A lot of comments have come back that it's going to be a foregone conclusion anyways in 10 years. So the first towns that get on this and get ahead of it, businesses who want to promote natives, promote things that will grow and give berries and give fruit that have been doing vegetation for 500 million years. Man-made fertilizer is only 100 years old. The world has survived very well in the balance of providing for itself.
Well, they used manure in the old days.
Just on farming, but I'm just
Yeah.
talking about the Amazon jungle, our redwoods
Yeah,
that go
right.
up a couple of
Right.
100 feet, our sequoias, I'm sure they weren't applying manure to those.
Carol.
It's a little bit of a broad brush, but the sources of the nitrogen in the water from fertilizers versus septic are somewhat different. Septic is going through the groundwater pretty much exclusively unless somebody's got a real problem.
Yeah.
Some of the nitrogen, I would be willing to bet, is going off as runoff.
Absolutely.
So it's not,
It's in both categories.
it's in both categories. So the argument that, well, this is a science experiment, so we can only change one variable at a time, isn't quite as helpful because they're in different, we are looking to see if all of a sudden the nitrogen goes way down when we flip the switch on the sewer system, then we know we're getting a handle on the groundwater. If the nitrogen drops another chunk after, not if, the petition goes into an effect and we can have our bylaw, then we know that was most likely, without a scientific survey, from the reduction in fertilizer. So I don't think we need another science experiment.
We're not putting the sewers together, I believe, I hope we don't, we're not spending $100 million for a science experiment.
Yeah.
We are putting them
No,
because
I meant
it's definitive.
about
No,
doing
and
the
this
two
too,
together, but-
nobody's refuting
No, I'm
that.
talking about layering them. One-
Layering, and it would be
You see the
nice.
effect of this one before you add this one, and can you tell which one?
And that's an
Having what
excellent point, and
effect?
if you wanted to separate, it'll be hard. Granted, it's hard now, we can't even get from all of these organizations, SMAS, Pleasant Bay, Horsley Wood, and Orleans Pongo, they can't even give us the same figures right now. So it'll be really hard to tell, but at the end of the day, one thing they all agree on is that fertilizer has negative impacts on our water bodies. So I would love to have the exact data as we do this, but long as we know we are helping nature and we can test the whole thing, this is in conjunction with the sewers. The sewers are 100% supported by the select board, as you guys know. This is just to add to that. I mean, sewers in some of these are saying they're 69, 70%. Some people think they're 75, maybe, whatever. We still aren't 100% sure on that. But somebody gave me a cute analogy, and I think it was my niece, and she said, well, I get why you're doing, sewers are the most important thing. They're the big thing. It's like hitting a home run in baseball, but we still need singles and doubles all the time. She said, I guess it's kind of like if I saw somebody throwing a bag of trash in our waters, you'd be horrified and angry. But what if they were just throwing a bottle or a paper wrapper? You know, any pollution that we know about that's hurting our most important asset that we swim in, we recreate in. I'm not going to even say drink. You know, that's not even the major concern right here. That it is our biggest asset. Nobody wants to do a short-term rental near a polluted lake. Nobody comes to that town if they have reviews. You guys know more than anything what's happening all around us by lakes and in ponds and what we do and hold our breath when we do all this testing and waiting for the results to come back. You know, if that happens in our town, people would choose to go to other towns. They may not choose to shop in our stores. We have hundreds of businesses in this town we have to protect. We have 6,000 residents we have to protect, and anywhere over 20,000+ visitors that come to this town. That's why we're doing this. Not, you know, why we do want people to be able to grow their flowers. I have hydrangeas. We've had hydrangeas in my family for 40 years, and we don't fertilize them, and they grow beautifully. Now, can they grow bigger and bigger if you add things to them? Yeah, they can. You know, I have sunflowers at my certified organic farm. They're 12 to 15 foot tall with no staking, and there's no fertilizer that was added. So it's just really shifting and changing a little bit of our practices. Nobody is taking away lawns. Nobody is taking away your ability to plant flowers. I see this for those gardening groups as a huge opportunity to get out there because they're going to be needed. Residents are going to go to them, and they're going to go to our amazing garden stores that we have, and they're going to ask for help and say, what should I be planting and thinking about in the future? Forgetting even about this, I hope they're doing that already, just seeing what the water is going on like. We think it's probably going to be maybe that way next summer. Maybe things generally get a little, continue. If I was a property owner, I would be thinking about, wow, I should really start thinking about switching to native drought-resistant plants.
And if, as governments work slowly, the home rule petition takes 2 years,
Could.
but then we still have to enact it into
Enacted,
law
when
and
is
get
it going to go into effect?
So that is 2 years of data just looking at the sewers first.
It'll be 1 year maybe.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
but, so we get a little bit of where the trend is going. Obviously, it's not perfect. But my other just comment
Yeah.
is in terms of getting the word out.
Yes.
Does the select board itself have a Facebook page or an internet, a social media presence?
No. No, I know. We are talking about
Good.
getting and updating. It's a challenge with us. We have the website. We've done a lot with the website. We've improved it. It's coming along. We put our web pages on there. We do our push notifications through Civic Ready. But yes, would it be nice to have somebody, but I think you know, and I just know from my business, is managing social media is
Well,
almost like a
I
full-time
don't
job.
even look
If
at
you'd
my
like to
Facebook
start
page
now,
anymore,
but yeah, it's a lot of work and.
But in a forum like that, it doesn't necessarily have to be, or I'm asking more than stating, does it necessarily have to be formal announcements? Could a Facebook page from the selectmen tell us what you're thinking? In other words,
It
you
could,
know,
it could say, but there's,
We really think this is important because X, Y, and Z.
and we're,
Or we're trying to be at the forefront of a particular issue, in this case,
Yeah.
fertilizer. And so it's a little bit more casual a communication that isn't just a meeting notice.
gotcha. Well, we do have the landing page, which has all of this. We have presentations that are going to go on it. We have FAQs that go on.
But they have to know about them.
They have to know about them, and they have to get out there with the reach. And that's a challenge of, we've talked about in this town for everything. We talked about it with sewers. How do we get the knowledge out there? We still have meetings, as last week with Meeting House, of discussing that people still have a lot of questions about the hookups and what's the process and how this is going to take. Unfortunately, and they've been discussing that for many, many years, so it is a challenge we have as a town to get people engaged prior to an issue, and, we've talked about that, and we're trying to figure out how to make sure we can still address a lot of our residents who don't use digital, and then how do we have residents that do digital as we're shifting, and also going into more than just digital website or announcements, going more into social media, but then being careful that we're not giving individual impressions or opinions from different select board members where we voted on this unanimously.
Yeah.
This is something that we all did. There's no question. And I think that's important to note. But I get your point. I would love a social media. The police department does a good job.
That's great.
They do a good job. Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely, again, resources.
Valerie?
This is off point entirely, but having to do with communication, and we're in the middle of a drought. You could just put signs up at the showers at Skakit and Nauset. Both places, I have repeatedly seen people go to wash their feet off or wash themselves off and walk away and leave it running.
Mm.
I mean, so it's off point, but that is like the most obvious way to communicate. Big sign next to it saying, we are in a drought, turn this off after using. I mean, that's,
Or the
but anyway,
lighted
that's,
sign.
that's not your issue.
Yeah.
No, it is.
But every time I see it happen, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Or the lighted sign down at the corner of Meeting House
Yes.
for the Nauset Spit updates.
Yes, that's a great
And
point.
yet, when I cross town borders lately into Harwich or Chatham, big lighted signs talking about the drought restrictions.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. We have had some people bring up, the restaurant signs that they put outside in
Sandwich
front that
board
could be at
things, yeah.
at certain places. We do have where the Eversource is at the corner of Eldridge and 6A, and then also entering from South Orleans on 28. They do have those signboards, and we could put signs up there too. But again, that's going real old school in non-digital, but then also looking at Facebook too. So there's a wide array of different things, plus the newspapers, which we also find all of this information has been in the newspapers and online for people who follow any of the new local news in the town. it's hard to miss, all I was saying about the newspaper, it's hard to miss this if you do follow the local news,
Yes,
If you're a newspaper reader.
if you're a newspaper reader.
I mean, and we've done surveys. When I was with the Orleans Pond Coalition, we asked the Cape Codder what percentage of the population subscribed.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly low.
Then ask the subscribers how many get it actually delivered.
but as Valerie
Well,
said,
this was in the day of delivery. This was not before the days of digital.
but as Valerie said, communications and, I hate to use a dirty word, marketing is everything. Because if you can't convey the information
What's the point?
in a way that people are receptive to,
If they can't digest it in a way they understand and you're not reaching them, I've been in business for quite a years of my career, and it's the same with all of it.
Well, and
If
that's
you-
point of contact.
It's an excellent point, and we
Yeah.
need to,
I mean, we think because. this
we
is
know it.
Nonprofit and governments that, oh, we don't do that. Well,
Yeah,
you having problems? Yeah.
yeah. Marketing is one term you can use, just awareness.
Or
Just because people
communications.
want to let them make their own decisions, that's what we're all here about. That's why I'm
Yeah.
joined the select board, is to bring these things forward. That I hear people, listening to people. I don't think anybody in this room can deny this is not something that has not been talked about for decades. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put bylaws, they wouldn't, all of these reports. I mean, the amount of reports on fertilizer that are out there that are done by all of these amazing organizations. Obviously somebody has had an interest in finding out information about this. How do we get that in a digestible way to make awareness at what it is at 2022?
I think Ed Hefner has
Yeah, sorry.
been
Hi, Ed.
patiently flagging.
Yes, I want to thank you, Michael, for presenting all the data and telling us what the select board has done and answering all our questions. I think it's very useful for us in our deliberations. But I would like to return the committee to looking at item 4 on our agenda, which I think should involve a discussion amongst us, as well as asking questions of Michael. And specifically noted in there is a possibility of a vote to support. So that's what I want to sort of get back to a little bit. And
It's reasonable.
with regard to that, I have a couple of comments, and one is the section 1 of the draft of the article. I think we all fully agree with that. There is sound scientific evidence to conclude that the nitrogen and phosphorus in the fertilizers do negatively affect the fresh water and salt waters when present in excessive amounts. We're a scientific board, and we advise the select board on the science. So I think, in a way, we can support this strongly. All the data and all the studies that have been done over the years by SMAST and our experts that we deal with when we're trying to improve the water quality of the ponds and our estuaries, this has come out, by and large, over and over. It's almost repetitive, but as people have pointed out, the public sometimes doesn't hear us, so we have to keep repeating. So I wouldn't mind or object to writing a letter in some way saying that this petition does, in a way, its own way, address this, and we support the science of it. But we're a committee that's charge is constrained. We're a science committee. We're not necessarily supposed to get in the legalities and the politics of it. So in the past, there have been reports from SMAS, for example, where they acknowledge we want to do these kinds of things, but education is the way to go, not laws or legal things. That's a question I think select board people have to address. And they have. They voted unanimously to support this. But I don't think that's something we have to opine on. We just should stick to the science, say, yeah, the science here is good. And we support that, but whether the petition itself is the way to go, or whether more education efforts are the way to go, I don't think we can necessarily, it's in our expertise to make a recommendation of that sort. At any rate, that's how I'm feeling about it. So I think there's also motivation for us to do it, because we want to educate the public. So we should make some sort of stand, some sort of statement. And that's why I'm emphasizing the science part, and maybe a note that we could do in that respect. Maybe on learning more after going to the afternoon session that you're going to be having, and hearing other things from other people. We could do more. But at this point, I would only support writing a letter emphasizing the science is correct and attempting to help educate the public on that. With regard to percentages, has come up from time to time about how much do the fertilizers contribute to the problem. And you've mentioned 5 to 15%, I think, over various times.
I've seen different reports, yeah.
So that's an interesting number to me, because the reason it's that low is because most of it's coming from the septics. But once the sewers are in and the septic problem is more or less addressed, it's not going to be complete, obviously, the percentage of problem then from the fertilizer is obviously going to be much higher.
Yeah, of course,
Because-
percentage-wise, yeah.
So that would be, later on, I would certainly be emphasizing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get it. And I do have a personal opinion about, but my opinion, personal, it doesn't matter with regard to what this committee does. But now that I have the floor, I'll probably state it. That is, I fully agree with the idea of not utilizing fertilizers. I agree with the fact that native plants have existed for hundreds of years, thousands of years on Cape Cod before fertilizers were invented, yeah, okay, I love beautiful flowers too, and I'm guilty of putting some fertilizer on them. But I think we all have to bend to the new reality of the pollution that's happening on our planet and on Cape Cod. There was a very interesting article in the New York Times a few days ago. It had a video precisely on this point of what fertilizers are doing and not doing. So I was moved by that, and I would recommend anyone to look that up in the last week or so on the New York Times. Anyway, that's what I have, and I think as a committee now, we should discuss amongst ourselves how we want to proceed on this. And we want to thank you, Michael, for
Thank you.
being with us and answering all our questions.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you, Michael.
sit, you guys discuss. If you do want to ask any other questions, please do. I won't.
Thank you, Michael. Bob?
Yeah, would we still have the opportunity, presumably, to comment on the warrant, the article that Orleans has put together, from a science perspective and also a reporting perspective, that we think could strengthen or
Right.
maybe add some
Well, that-
accuracy or make it more defensible?
Well, that's why I asked Michael if it can be amended. I wasn't referring to being amended by the state. I was talking about amendments prior to it becoming a final article to be submitted and placed at town meeting, because there may be some suggestions that we could make that would make it more likely to pass. And, focus maybe on the fact that it's the primary culprit for fertilizer is lawns, not your vegetable garden or your pot of geraniums on your deck. So I don't know. That's a question for Michael, but I believe it can be amended before it becomes a final. Is that correct, Michael, or not?
Anything can be amended before it goes to town meeting. It can be, if you decide, but it's got to be done by,
Sorry.
it's got, anything can be amended at some point, but it has to be done by the full select board and changed. We are having the public discussion, the workshop today. We haven't had one yet. So we are going
Right.
to hear all of these things.
Right.
Again, I've spent hours and hours with committees, hours and many hours with retailers, many hours with the public. We're trying to put all this information together in a digestible way to do a presentation, plus also just listen. That's what today is all about, is listening to what everybody, how people feel. There's been overwhelming positive support, but I've also seen negative support. You know, that's what an issue is. It needs a simple majority at town meeting is over 50%. So that's where we stand with that. So yes, technically, anything can be changed pretty much before it gets to the town
I
meeting.
think what Bob's asking is, would you like to receive some input from us on, is that? Bob,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
asking?
some written comments that you can, yeah, that you can consider, you know, that,
That's what
from my perspective, I think would strengthen or, you know, make it more defensible.
we would love that. And again, I apologize if it's not clear. That's why we're doing the public workshops.
Okay,
We
so
are
will-
getting feedback and
Okay.
asking everybody, not just certain committees, because I don't go to every committee, because every committee isn't, you know, it's not germane, but we're doing a public work. You can either, as the Marine and Freshwater Quality, of course, you can send it directly to us, you can attend the meeting, but we welcome all comments, and we will read them and address them and discuss them. And if the majority of the select board feels like they want to do something, they will.
Dumb question.
No such
Will,
thing.
Well.
this one might be.
No,
Is the link for today's
Yes.
meeting or forum or whatever on the website?
Absolutely. It's
Where?
right on the news and highlights, and it's been sent
So
out.
it's not under the home rule petition?
No, it's right in the calendar. If you go to the calendar, you'll
Aha,
see Protect Our
calendar.
Waters.
Thank you.
That's how I navigate the website. Everybody does things a little bit differently, but I go right to the calendar first and click through that. But it's also in the news and noteworthy. It's been up there for over a week now.
I've
It's-
sent you links to it.
I thought so, but I
I've
somehow don't
what,
have
several
seemed to have
times?
Yeah.
lost them.
And the Zoom link is there. I know we've had some workshops recently that have been challenging, so some people might want to zoom in.
Presumably that will be recorded
We are.
as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why we decided to do it here, so that we will have this recorded. So everything is right up there. Everybody can see it. Everybody can make their comments. Everybody can zoom in. It's a public workshop, and we really want to embrace whether they agree or disagree. We'd love to hear what people say. We hope, of course, they'd agree more than disagree, but it's important in this whole process to hear all of the comments. And any suggestions that how we can make it better. Yeah, definitely appreciate that.
Valerie.
So it seems
Thank you,
that,
Michael.
or, that we're being asked now as a group to support this, whether or not we support it. That's one question. And then the second question is, are we willing to write a 1 or 2 page, not letter, memo, I think would be a better word, of support? I think, as I understand it, that's kind of where we're at now, no?
I believe there have been other committees in town that have taken a vote on whether to support the article or not. As far as formal letters of support, I'm not so sure that, have they been submitting that also?
it's also in the.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, they ask us for a 1 or 2 page memo from us.
Okay,
If you want to,
Yeah.
this is your
Right.
committee, this is your decision. We as a select board asked if you would be interested in discussing with your committee, and yes, if you are willing and would like to send a letter of support to us, a memo, however you feel. And we do have them up there from the Conservation Commission to the Recreation Commission, and other ones are coming along. The Agricultural Commission approved theirs. We haven't gotten the letter yet, but they did vote. So a lot of the groups are in this process because they meet once a month like you do, and it's hard if you're not on that agenda right away because it's a short period of time.
I tend to agree with Ed Hafner's description and approach and opinion on the science, because that is what we do, and that's our focus and our charge. But I'd like to hear from all of you on your opinion of Ed's sort of breaking it down in that way. Carolyn?
I do agree with him, and I think there may be a misnomer out there that the minute the sewage treatment plant starts up, Town Cove is going to look like
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
right.
your bathtub. There's
take
a
care.
lot of organic muck, et cetera, in the bottom of every single one of our ponds and estuaries, and that too is a source of nitrogen. So just simply turning off one source of nitrogen is not going to make for instantly pure, clean water. And Mother Nature doesn't want pure, clean water. It needs the muck to feed a whole succession of organisms in our food chain. So I would support a motion similar to what Ed said in supporting the section 1 of this article. My humble opinion is that doing this as fast as this may or may not happen is a little over the top. I would like to see us really do a lot of public relations related to cutting back on fertilizer before we say, stop. And I also would like to see what happens to our waters over the next 3 years. And you can pick the ones that will be affected by this present sewer system. Boland, Down Cove, Cedar should have some impact, and so on. We can pick them off the watershed map. I really want to know what differences that you're going to see in those ponds and estuaries before we add one more layer of change.
Is there a time limit on when such a letter of support needs to be filed? In other words, could we wait till after, for example, after this afternoon's meeting and maybe get more information and do it at the next meeting?
We had asked before, if possible, to have it by the 28th on the letter to you guys, but you guys do what, I mean,
Yeah.
it would be helpful to have it as soon as possible, like you say, so we can have outreach. And that's,
Well,
it's
you
the chicken
have
and the
your
egg.
things that you're looking after, but as a committee, we have to tend to our charge.
Of course, of course, of course.
So I think that was a yes, we could wait a month if we wanted to.
It's really,
Meanwhile, we could work on a letter, a
Well, I
draft.
was about to- could I move that we vote to write a letter with a science-based focus of support, but we will listen to the workshop today and the feedback and incorporate that into our comments and our thinking as we prepare the letters, because it's going to take a while to get a letter together.
I
Yeah.
second that suggestion.
anyone else have a comment to this motion? Or did you have other questions or comments? Did you want to discuss this further?
The only thing I would like to say is I don't understand what the downside is effectively for our environment to do both remediations at the same time. The fertilizer ban and the sewers. No, the data won't be as clear, but the water will be clearer,
Right.
and that's the goal.
I agree with
I
that.
agree with
Correct.
that, too.
We're not
And-
sewering the whole town, right?
Anyway,
And you're looking at groundwater flow at, a foot, couple feet per day, so there's a long attenuation period before we really see the effects of.
It will take
sewer, yeah.
years before you actually,
Well,
I mean-
there's a scientist in me who would like to do it the way Carolyn said, so that you can see
right,
what the effects are, but really, this is sort of almost uncontrolled conditions, these experiments. And how are you going to gather the data, and how are you going to analyze? It's like too much. I think we have to go with what the science tells us, that the nitrogen and phosphorus are in excess on Cape Cod, and they're doing damage. And we have to do what we can to prevent it, and we can't be totally tidy about when and how. We should just do it as quickly as we can, I would say.
I agree.
So, Mary, I guess the motion which you were making, you're motioning that we write a letter supporting the article as currently written,
No, Section 1 of the article,
just section 1.
Section 1.
Is that what you said?
She did.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to say that. A letter supporting the article with a focus on
Science.
adding scientific
Right.
comments.
Which is Section 1 and the thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, but I think we're supporting the
Yeah.
position
The
as a
science,
whole.
yeah, same thing. We're saying the same thing.
But I was, I mean, maybe this,
Emphasize, all right, so the letter will emphasize that the science is correct.
Right.
and I think, some members of this group seem to want to offer some suggestions, which I think could be incorporated in the letter if we can agree on what those are.
We may need to schedule a special meeting to do that so that we can move at a little faster pace, because I think that would be better, that we provide this information or this letter sooner rather than later.
It's going to have any impact on the warrant, yes.
Pardon me?
If
Yeah.
If what we say is going to have any impact on the warrant, yes.
So the wording of the motion? Rich, are you,
I was just trying to get a motion to write a letter emphasizing that the science supports, let's see, that the science supports the article as currently written. Right? I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Did that get it or not?
Does that,
That the science supports the article. Science supports the conclusions?
Supports the approach of the.
you want to also say that to support the process?
Supports the process.
Well, the process of the moving forward
Article.
with the process of this article,
Okay. Okay.
I guess. Mary, you need to
I
really,
think it's a distinction without a difference.
Mary and Ed need to write.
All right, I got it, okay.
I liked the first sentence of Section 1 for, I thought that's what we were
Yeah.
saying. There is sound scientific evidence to conclude that nitrogen and phosphorus and fertilizer are contaminants that negatively affect the fresh and salt waters when present in excessive amounts.
That's what I was saying, so the science, you want to say
Right.
it's stated in section 1 supports moving forward with the article as currently written. All right, you can,
I don't want to move forward on the article. I don't,
You
I
don't-
guess what I'm saying is I don't want to recommend that, I don't want to recommend the article because it has legal aspects in it. I only want to emphasize we agree with the science of it, but not with the legality of actually having a home rule petition, because that's beyond what we do.
well, we don't agree or disagree, is what you're saying. We're
I mean,
not
that's my
commenting
position.
on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, have we supported articles for funding and of various ponds remediation in their entirety? I can't remember how we have supported by
Well, like we're.
agreeing with whole articles, or just the concept of cleaning up Uncle Harvey's Pond?
Well, with that one, we supported alum treatment.
Right.
It's a very specific
That
thing.
wasn't
We
a-
didn't say,
That wasn't an article, though.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember.
That was in
There
the
were
town warrant.
articles.
That's a town warrant, it's different.
that.
Yeah.
But we can write this, don't you think, without stating that we are not supporting or not supporting the legal aspects of this. I mean, we could just write this letter of support, emphasizing the fact that we agree with the science.
We are supporting the science-based evidence
that's it,
that's contained in the article.
right. But we make no,
Oh.
Section 1 of the article.
Comment
one way or the other on,
And I don't know that we need to say that.
yeah, we don't have to actually
Right.
say it, but
Right, I
that's
would
the
not say-
intent.
But, yeah,
Right,
We don't want to go beyond our charge.
but I don't think we should put that in the letter. We
Well-
should know that ourselves.
yeah, the caveat part, just,
The letter hasn't been written yet. I'm
Right.
sure we're going to work that over several times before we're all happy.
Still need a clear.
So we don't have to do that today,
No,
right?
we're just saying we're going to
Still need a clear motion, I'm
Can I
sorry.
try- Let me try this, and this may be, I'll give
Okay.
it, for further feedback. I move that we support the goals of this petition and the science upon which it's based.
oh, how simple.
There
Perfect.
we go.
I said I like it.
Well, I heard it.
She'll give you that.
Okay.
She'll give you that.
Well done.
Support the goals of this petition and the science
Science upon
upon which it is based.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
capture,
I don't think that's the same thing as what Ed was saying.
no? Well, section 1, you can
Yeah.
refer to section 1.
Yeah. But it doesn't,
It's ignoring,
anybody reading it, it doesn't say we don't necessarily support section 2.
Well, the goal
or
of
we
the
think there are
article is to
alternatives
prohibit the,
section 2.
so now you're getting back to where you were before. I think you were just trying to say there's not the, you're not supporting the goals of the article then, because you don't support the goals of the article as
I
it's
do.
written.
I do support lowering nitrogen and phosphorus, but I'm not necessarily in favor of a
Banning.
home rule petition.
So the
I
emphasizing
mean, I don't think that's
the
for
goal,
I
us to
think
say.
one, this is looking ahead to what our letter could ultimately say, and this is just me, but if I were drafting it, I would start with that broad statement. When we support the goals of the petition and the science upon which it's based. I can imagine us going on to say there are a number of approaches to reach that goal, and the petition is one. And,
Yeah.
to my mind, that's not the only way of
Yeah.
achieving that goal. There are sort of a battery of things, including education and outreach, that one could use to get to that goal. But
Right.
Right.
I think, this is directionally correct, is what we're saying.
so
What I'm trying
my
to say.
motion would
What she
be,
said, yeah.
so my motion would be that Mary and Ed get together.
Yes.
To craft a
I
letter
was going to say that, it's like, take the pressure off me.
to the select board.
Hey. Sure. I'd be all right with that.
I'll work with you, Ed.
And I don't want to say in
Okay, so-
support of the article, just,
I'd need a motion for the first one on the article, and this, and then also the letter. Okay.
reinforcing section 1, the concept in section 1, and then, right?
It's a motion to support the goals of this petition, or the goals of this petition and the goals upon which it is based.
the science upon which it is.
Evidence.
The science, excuse me.
Scientific evidence.
I try to write when I talk, and it doesn't work.
Okay, I second that motion.
Yeah, okay.
Mary made
Al
it.
already seconded it.
Okay.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain?
Did you vote? Yes.
Yes.
Well, that was easy.
Okay, we got through that.
And this is the stuff we all agree on.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I don't know if we need a motion about writing a letter, we can,
just do it.
we're going to do it.
We're going to do.
Okay.
And everyone's in agreement with that, correct?
And should we, when we come up with something, should we give it to Judy to share with others?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should have the draft reviewed by everybody, and certainly.
Sounds good.
But if you,
You're all right with, we could send it to you first, or do you want us?
I don't need to see it first. You
Okay.
You can,
Send it to Aaron. Yeah.
I'll make comments
Yeah.
regardless of whether it goes to just me or all of
Does
us.
that conform with the open meeting law?
Yeah, I was just
Well,
wondering
that's
about
another
that.
thing.
You just
Don't-
can't debate it.
We can't debate it.
You can send it to everybody.
Yeah, just make comments and send it back.
They can send the comments back.
Yeah, to
just
one,
to us.
one person.
One
Just to
person.
who-
Well, they could send it to
Or
two.
Judy,
You're
or-
It's not a quorum, you're not,
You
right,
can't share any responses with everybody.
Right.
That's the safe way to do
Right.
right,
Okay.
it.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yep.
right. So would you be willing to have a meeting that's not our normal scheduled meeting, just so we can
Yep.
finalize the letter, discuss it, everyone can see it and review it and comment during an open meeting. Are you willing to do that? I know summertime is tough, but we won't meet again until, 9/26.
Yeah.
So,
And you all are requesting it by the 28th of August?
we wanted it on August, but this is,
Yeah.
Okay.
well, it depends how fast.
You can meet Zoom, you know. I don't know.
Pardon me?
You can meet by Zoom.
There are separate, our meeting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's not a big deal as far
Yeah.
as whether we're physically here or Zoom, as
Do
long
we add a
as,
meeting next Monday?
as long as the room is available, which I would have to check on that.
On the,
How much
would be the
notice
29th.
the meeting law do we have to give for?
It's 48 business hours. You have to post an agenda.
We do it on next Monday.
Let me see if I've got something else.
That would be the 29th. That's-
I think I'm okay. Is,
Good for me. Well, before I say that.
I can do
gotta
it.
look.
I just need to check and make sure we have a meeting room, otherwise we can do Zoom or Skake It room or something. Depends on the time of day. Do you want to stick with the same time of day?
Sure.
10 a.m.?
Very
Unless it's
short,
unavailable.
one-item meeting.
Yep,
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
To review, does that give you enough time? You and Mary?
Well, we'll have to work fast.
Do it.
I have great confidence in you.
It's like before it drops, let's get it done.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
okay.
So we'll be meeting on the 29th.
At what
He
time?
wanted the letter by the
At 10
29th.
o'clock, as long as I
Well,
can
that's
secure a room.
Sunday,
Yeah.
so I don't think they actually can do
It'd
anything
be a small room.
Sunday.
Yes, correct. It doesn't have to be a big room.
No, it could be half a page.
Yeah, I think we keep it short and simple.
That's usually the better approach. Yep. We could add, if there's comments on the actual article, as Bob was saying, we could discuss that also if you
Yeah,
wanted
I
to.
think that's a good idea.
Okay. So there'll be 2 agenda items. Okay. Okay. Michael, we're not always conventional, I'm sorry.
None of our committee stuff.
Well, you should know, we always ask a lot of questions, and we look at things differently, and so sometimes it's harder for us.
I find that very helpful, and I appreciate you guys taking this time. I know it's a big discussion point, and I appreciate you spending time and going through it, so thank you.
Thank you for your passion also, Michael.
And you're all welcome this afternoon with those comments too, so.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I think I might have a conflict, but, and we'll put them in writing anyway, that I don't think will, it wouldn't change the approach, it's just more, I think, scientifically defensible.
And I just want everybody to know, and I meant it, I have reached out to hundreds and hundreds of people. I know it's not enough. We need to do more. We constantly need to make this awareness if it's going to be successful. But if any of you know anybody that has questions, please give them my email. You all have it. Please reach out directly. And they can find the email on our town website. And I've responded to every single person. So I just want to make sure. It is a lengthy process, and we have a lengthy FAQ already prepared, and we want to wait to see what happens today to incorporate those questions before we publish it. So, thank you.
I think it needs an editor.
I know.
Okay, thank you all for your input. Oh dear, I need to find Judith's report. Oh, you have it? I wanted to just read,
You want me to read it to you?
well, the next item on the agenda was the wastewater advisory committee, a report from the representative, which is Judith Bruce, and she couldn't be here today, so I wanted to just read her report into the record, or you can
Okay,
read
I
it into
can
the
already
record
put
so
it in.
that
Okay.
the public is aware of what she updated us on. This is based on their very first meeting, so.
Okay. Judith Bruce reported to the chair in an email dated August 16th of 2022 that the committee held its first meeting on Thursday, August 11th. Attendees reviewed the committee charge and elected the following officers: Kelvin Galligan, Select Board Rep, as the chair, Judith Bruce, our rep, as the vice chair, and Jenny Farber, the ConsCon rep, as the clerk. Other committee members include John Smith, Board of Health, Dick Hartman, Planning Board rep, Alan McLennan, Water and Sewer Commission rep, and Lynn Bruneau, Financial Committee rep and non-voting member. The committee will meet twice a month on the second and fourth Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Sorry, I'm reading this too fast for some of you. The
You're fine.
committee will initially focus on priorities to address upcoming deadlines, including submitting the revised CWMP and updating the Pleasant Bay watershed permit schedule.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
The next item on the, oh, does anyone have any comments or questions, or? Okay.
See what comes.
Yeah,
Yep.
waiting.
I'm sure she'll be back to update us. It will be a regular running agenda item in the future for these updates. The next item is Sarah's Pond OPC Water Quality Project, which again, Judith isn't here today unless someone else has information on that, but we'll skip over to the APCC cyanobacteria monitoring update. Mr. Hafner.
Yeah. So, the APCC, as you know, monitors cyanobacteria levels in a variety of ponds on Cape Cod. Orleans Pond Coalition works with them to do 6 of our ponds. And over the course of the summer, there have been not advisories, health advisories yet on our ponds, but some have been cited for potential of concern, which means levels seem to be going up, and so we kept retesting weekly instead of biweekly. But fortunately, none of our ponds reached a status that required a health advisory. However, other ponds on the Cape, as you may have noticed in the news, have undergone at least potential of concern, and some have been closed down for a while. So it's like a march when I look at the ponds. So Santuit Pond and Mashpee, oh, that's far away. We don't have to worry about that. And Flume Pond in Falmouth, oh yeah. North Pond in Barnstable, well, it's getting closer than the West Reservoir in Harwich. Then the Lower Mill Pond in Brewster had an advisory, and Schoolhouse Pond in Brewster as well. So it's closing in, and I think it's another indication that we have to really, if we haven't already, got serious about protecting our waters. And if anyone wants to, I don't know, join the Orleans Pond Coalition and help fund these things, because it's not done for free, but we have to sort of pay for the kits and for the scientific follow-ups. Val?
So I'm just curious, Ed, why do you feel there's a geographic?
What's that?
When you were describing how it's coming from, how
Oh,
it's
yes, the
moving
main-
down, are you connecting this geographically, or is that simply by happenstance?
Well, so I don't have an answer to that, but what I envision is the mainland temperatures are warmer than, and the further out you get on the Cape, it's cooler.
Okay,
So the ponds, when the pond waters warm up, that's when trouble happens in the summer. So that's what I think we're seeing, but I wouldn't swear to that.
but when you see like the hordes that descend on Crystal Lake in July and August,
Yeah,
that's warming, right?
That-
Or not? Do you, I mean, would you consider that to be something that warms the water?
that hordes of people
Well, I
swimming in
guess
there?
hordes.
No.
Many.
No,
What? No, not really. No. It's all, it's the sun and the modulation of us being surrounded by ocean water
Okay.
that modulates.
And the fact that there, well, I'm sorry, I just
Go
want
ahead,
to
no,
understand this,
keep
Carol.
going.
Yeah.
No, no.
And the fact that the Cape is broader at the top, obviously it gets skinnier as we come down, that affects the heat,
yes.
warmth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Definitely,
Thank you.
yeah.
It may be a little early, but is this a time to recognize the fact that the alum treatment in Uncle Harvey's appears to have worked?
So far, so good.
Well,
Because
yeah, yes.
this summer has certainly been the hottest that I can remember
Yeah,
in a long time in Orleans, and it's the driest,
yeah.
or close to it. So those two together should be making the cyanobacteria, which was problematic a few years back in Uncle Harvey's,
Right,
that should be making it way worse.
yeah. Well,
it's
fingers crossed. I like that
So
point of view,
I
yeah.
think we're looking at all the downsides, that, oh my God, it reached a level of concern.
Yeah,
Yeah, but 5 years ago, or whenever we had the last really big outbreak,
yeah.
it was a lot higher